2 Samuel chapter 5, David's king over all Israel. Then all the tribes of Israel came to David at Hebron and said, "Behold, we are your bone and your flesh. In times past, when Saul was king over us, it was you who led Israel out to war and brought Israel in from the battle. And the Lord told you, shall shepherd my people Israel and be ruler over them." So all the elders, the tribal leaders of Israel, came to the king of Hebron. And King David made a covenant with them at Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed him king over Israel. David was 30 years old when he became king. He reigned 40 years. So finally, at 30 years old, he got his place. Did a lot of fighting before then, didn't he? In Hebron, he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months, and in Jerusalem, he reigned 33 years over all Israel and Judah. Now the king and his men went to Jerusalem against the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, who said to David, "You shall not enter here, for the blind and the lame, even the weakest among us, will turn you away." They thought, "David cannot come in here because the walls are impenetrable." Nevertheless, David captured the stronghold fortress of Zion, that is the city of David. Then David said on this day, "Whoever strikes the Jebusites, let him go up through the underground water shaft to strike the lame and the blind, who are detested by David's soul because of their arrogance." So for that reason they say, "The blind or the lame shall not come into the royal house of David." So David lived in the stronghold and called it the city of David, and he built all around the surrounding areas and the Millo, the fortification, and inward. David became greater and greater, for the Lord, the God of hosts, the armies, was with him. And now Hiram, the king of Tyre, sent messengers to David with cedar trees, carpenters, and stonemasons, and they built a house, a palace for David. And David knew that the Lord had established him as king over Israel, and that he had exalted his kingdom for his people, Israel's sake. David took more concubines and wives from Jerusalem than after he came from Hebron. More sons and daughters were born to him. And these are the names of those who were born to him, and it gives you a name of his children that way. And my little commentary at the bottom says, of these marriages, remember he took more concubines, probably reflected David's involvement in international treaties and alliances which were sealed with the marriage of a king's daughter to the other participants in the treaty. Concubine wives who did not have the legal rights of a true marriage were part of a royal harem. The status of kings in ancient times was often measured in part by the size of their harem, but Israel's kings had been warned not to acquire many wives. Okay, then we got the war with the Philistines. When the Philistines heard that David had been anointed king over Israel, all the Philistines went up to look for him. But he heard about it and went down to the stronghold. Now the Philistines had come and spread out for battle in the valley of Rephaim. David inquired of the Lord, saying, "Shall I go up against the Philistines? Will you hand them over to me?" And the Lord said to David, "Go up, for I will certainly hand them over to you." So David came to Baal-perazim, and he defeated them there and said, "The Lord has broken through my enemies before me like a breakthrough of water." So he named that place Baal-perazim, the master of breakthroughs. And the Philistines abandoned their pagan idols there, so David and his men took them away to be burned. The Philistines came up once again and spread out in the valley of Rephaim. When David inquired of the Lord, he said, "You shall not go up, circle around behind them and come at them in front of the balsam trees. And when you hear the sound of marching in the tops of the balsam trees, then you shall pay attention and act promptly, for at that time the Lord will have gone out before you to strike the army of the Philistines." David did just as the Lord had commanded him, and he struck down the Philistines from Geba as far as Gezer. So the key is that David sought the Lord and inquired what to do, and that is when he is going to be getting that winning in the war. So this is your daily Bible chapter, reading God's Word Monday through Friday. See you tomorrow.